All right, winters are coming, and looks like this winter's El Nino or something. It's going to be just as bad, if not worse, than any of the rest of them. And I do have the underpinning completely surrounding the house now, so pipes should be okay. And I blocked up some of the little places that had spaces in between, but it looks like if it's anything like the last 2 or 3 years, it's going to get into the teens again. Or if it does get into the teens again and stays there for 2 or 3 days, then it gets cool under your house. It gets cold under your house too. So to help that, I'm going to put a heat lamp underneath. And what I got is this heat lamp right here, G heat lamp. It's 125 watt, and just to throw out some heat underneath the house. Good looking bulb, but I don't know how much heat it's going to throw out, and it doesn't need a lot. If I put one on the north end of the house and one beside where the pipe's going up into the house, I think that should suffice. Just to throw out a little heat in there. But I'm curious as to how much heat it actually throws out. And I do have all these bulbs. I've got some indoor floodlight bulbs. Got these floodlight bulbs, and they're only supposed to use like 11 watts. So do they throw out any heat? I don't know. They are LEDs, so probably not. Now, I do have this old, I didn't buy it, but old bulb here that's supposed to be 13 watts, and I know they do throw out a little heat. So I'm gonna test that and see how much heat it's gonna use or throw out. And these LEDs, I'm certain they don't throw out a whole lot of heat, but they don't use any wattage, 14 watts, But if this one is what it's advertised, it's going to use 125 watts. But that's, when I was growing up, we used to use 300 or 200 watt light bulbs in a fixture. So we used to use 200 watt incandescent bulbs in a light fixture. But now you know right, I could actually use one of these just like I did back then, but but you can't get incandescent bulbs anymore. I thought about getting a 60 watt incandescent, which would be a lot less wattage, and see how much heat it would throw out. But you can't buy an incandescent bulb anymore. The only incandescents that I found were bulbs for appliance bulbs, like 20 watt or 40 watt or something like that, and they were incandescent and they were appliance bulbs. But these are the bulbs that I've got to work with. I'm probably going to use this one, but I want to test and see how much it actually uses, and actually how much heat throws it out. And I'm going to do that same with all these. All right, this is probably what I'm going to use because it's got a real stiff place. If I can find a place underneath the house to hang it on, this will also get hot, and or it should transfer heat anyway up in underneath the house. And I've got a piece of metal here a foot away. I'm going to make sure it's about a foot away, and we're going to test and see how much how many watts it's using, and what the temperature is before and after of this of that right there. Shows 27 Celsius. I don't want Celsius. Let's see if I can find something else. Alright, turned all the fans off in the room. And I'm going to start off with this little old bulb right here. I forget even what you call them things. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to test, see what the temperature of that metal is over there. And that metal is 81 degrees. 81.6. Right now, just sitting here in the shop. And the back of this is 82.9. Alright, we got that about a foot away. And we're going to give it about 5 minutes and see if this changes. It's 81 degrees there, 81.5. We'll see if that changes. We'll give it about 5 minutes and see if see what kind of temperature changes there is. Alright, it's been about 5 minutes with that little bulb there. And see what the temperature of this thing right here is now. 88.5 or 88 point, yeah, about 88.5 up here. 89 right there close to the edge. So it did go up a little bit, but not much. I mean, but it ain't but what, 11 watts or something like that? 12 watts? Yeah, 10.4 watts. Alright, let's see if there's any change over there on that. 81.5, 81.6. I don't know that changed any. I'd have to go back and look, but it didn't change much. But like I say, you're only burning 10 watts. So would that help underneath the house? Yeah, that would help a little bit. I mean, you can feel a little tiny bit of heat coming off of it. It's just not a lot. So let's try the LED next. All right, we got our little 100 watt equivalent LED in there, and we're gonna get a baseline. Let's see what the temperature of that thing is right now. It's 84, 83, so it's going down. But about 84 right there on the edge. 83 to 84. And that over there, the metal over there is 81. 80.7, 81. 81. Let's say close to 81. That gives us a base, and let's cut this one on. And curious, see if I can get on that bulb. Not very hot at all. The bulb's not throwing off any heat, I don't believe. No. I put my fingers in on it, stay on it. It's not putting out any heat at all. And it's only running 8 watts. It's drawing 8 watts. So it's throwing out a little light, very little light, and no heat. I can still grab that thing. So there's no heat coming off this thing. So there's no point in wasting 5 more minutes of time. So we're going to say that's not a good option for heat, for heating this for sure, or throwing any kind of heat out underneath your house. All right, well, let's go with the floodlight. All right, here's our floodlight. It's about 83 degrees right there on the edge, and our metal is still 80 degrees over there. So let's turn our floodlight on. Got a little more light, but is it throwing out any heat? Very, very little. I can barely feel it on the end of my fingers. The whole bulb is cool. Cool to the touch, except for right there on the end. So, like that other little bulb, this one is not going to do anything for heat exchange. You can cover it with your hand. It's not even close to being warm. It's still cold, which is a good thing. It's not using any electricity. 13 watts of electricity for a floodlight is not bad, but it's no source of heat. All right, we're down to our heat lamp, which that's what it's supposed to do, so let's check it out. All right, this bulb sticks out a little further too, so to be a fair competition, which there ain't no competition actually, because this didn't change at all except for one bulb, and it didn't change much. But I moved this back away from the heat bulb, back this way. Moved it about that far back. So it's a foot away, just like the other one was. So let's see if it changes. Move it over just a little bit where it'll be directly in front of it, I think. And it's a foot away. All right, our temperature, baseline temperature is right at the top there, 83 degrees. And baseline on the metal over there is 81 degrees. 83 and 81. Let's turn it on. Don't throw out a whole lot of light, but we're not looking for light. And 119 watts. It's supposed to be 125 watts. So that's good. It's less wattage, 119, just like a little over 100 watt light bulb is what that's going to be. So, I do want to kind of look at the bulb itself, see if we can get a temperature on it. Oh yeah, 150, 60, down in there somewhere. So, it's heating. We're going to give it 5 minutes like we did the other one and see if there's any change and see how much heat that thing's actually throwing out at 119, 120 volts. You might as well say 120 volts. See how much heat you can get up underneath the house. All right, see you in 5 minutes. All right, it's been 5 minutes. So is this heat lamp? It's supposed to be heating. It's supposed to be throwing some heat out. So is it doing what it's supposed to do, and will it help underneath my house? Just to keep the pipes from freezing. Let's find out if it's changed any. Let's try right here first. Right here on the top there. It's 100 degrees, 100.9, 101. Right here close to the top. 100 degrees up there at the top. So it's quite a bit warmer. And you can feel the heat coming off of this metal. So the metal is heated up. So it's throwing off a little heat. The light bulb is throwing off a little heat. Is it throwing it out there? Is it going just, or is it just staying right here? You can feel the heat coming off of it. You ain't gonna touch that bulb, not for a long period of time. And let's see what it's doing over yonder. Over there on that metal, it's now 91 degrees. 91 degrees over there. 90, 91 degrees. So it went up over there and went up on top. So it is generating quite a bit of heat. So 2 of these underneath my house will keep the pipes from freezing. Maybe one in the north end of the house and one down by the kitchen where the kitchen pipes are, maybe. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But at least a couple of these underneath the house, when it gets down to 10 degrees or 10, 12, 14, 15 degrees, and it's going to stay there for 2 or 3 days, walk outside, flip a switch, and let these things kind of throw a little bit of heat underneath the house. That's my plan. All right, and for 119 watts per deal, so 200 watt light bulbs can throw a little heat underneath the house. So that's not a bad exchange, I don't think so. All right, I guess that's it for now. And what I'm going to use is the GE 125 watt heat lamp. It says 5,000 hours. I hope I don't have to use it that much. Medium base, 120 volts. Alright, that's what I'm using. And use these for something else, I guess. They've been in my closet forever. So, alright, I guess that's it for now. Alright, figured out which light bulb we want under the house. A little heat lamp. And I'm going to put that under there. So we got to figure out where we want it. I'm probably going to come out right there with the cord. So let me get this out of the way. All right, screws out. Let's see here. Undo that right there. Work that because I want to slide it back down in there in the right place. Then I'm gonna pull this up. Get it over out of the way. Now we can go over here, pull the cord up through here maybe, or through here. Now then, where do we have a place? Yeah, I believe, let's see, this is where the plumbing comes into the bathroom, so a good heat spot right here. Is that metal? That's not metal. What is that? Oh, that's a hanger. That won't hurt a thing to put it on that hanger. Let's just look here. And we got to have enough cord to reach this. So let's see how much cord we got. About that much cord, maybe. So it's going to have to be right here pretty close, and there's nothing up here. Alright, I put this little bracket up here, a little closer to the outlet, closer than way over here. So, and then I hung this on there. It's just kind of dangling, but it doesn't matter. As long as that holds on, and I believe it will. Alright. And we got a light under there. Got the wire coming up here. And then we'll just make sure it works. And it does work. So now we just need to put the underpinning back on and unplug our wire until we need it. And we get down to 10 degrees, then we'll just come out here and plug the wire up. We'll have just a little bit of heat under the house. All right, all done. Can't tell that we've been here. This wire hanging out and just kind of hanging over the top here. And plug it up and you can see the light underneath there. So it's working. All right. Ready for a cold snap. And I guess that's it for now. All right, after thinking about it, I didn't like the way that light hangs underneath the house, so I'm going to build a little wooden contraption to hang it on versus that little metal piece of metal. So let me just cut a piece off here. That ought to be plenty wide enough. Don't know how straight that was. Right there. Not too bad. A little crooked, not too bad. All right, let's put them together. All right. So this don't have to be pretty. It just has to hold together. Down here. Put that together. Now then, let that dry, and we'll put a couple of screws in there just to make sure it is, make sure it doesn't come apart. But we'll let that dry, and then we'll go mount this underneath, and then we can hang that light on the wood instead of that little bitty, that small metal strip that I put on there isn't but like this thick. So this will give it more of something to grab a hold of. Alright, let's let it dry. While we're waiting on that to dry, I'm going to go ahead and put a screw in here to help hold that. Now then, we no longer need these. This is the screws holding it together. So I'm going to take one of these off. Put a screw down here on this end. Not real close to the end. I don't want it to split the wood, but like right about here maybe. There we go. Now, take that one off. And put a screw down here somewhere, like here. Alright. Now it's glued together, hooked together. You see that? Yeah. Glued and screwed, so it's not going anywhere. Alright, now we gotta go under there and put it under the house. This is probably, I don't know which one will be the stoutest. This is probably the stoutest side. So, I'm gonna put a couple of screws in here. Yeah. Up there. I can feel it on the back. And one like right here. All right. Now I just got to get it up underneath the house, shoot them screws in it, hang the light back. And maybe that'll be a little stouter than the little metal one we have. All right, let's open it back up. And there's our deal. Might just turn it on. Plugged it up so we get some light. Now then, I just need to take that down and put my new one up. Alrighty, we got our new hanger up there, and this thing hangs on to it a whole lot better than it held on to this thing. This thing, all it had was just a little bit of this to hold on to, so this makes it much better, much more stable. If something runs through there and hits it, you know, it's not going to go nowhere. So now we got a light under the house that we can plug in and unplug whenever we get ready to. Alright, I guess that's it for our update on my light bulb. One last thing while I got it on my mind is you can plug it up, but do you know it's on underneath the house? Do you know the light bulb's working? You know, so I left the fixture turned on. So you plug it up and you could look right down through there. You see light? It's lit up. You can see the light actually. So you can see the light. So when you unplug it, there's no light. So you can tell whether it's on. All right. I guess that's it.